The stairwell was dimly lit, casting elongated shadows that seemed to dance with the flickering light above, creating an almost ethereal atmosphere. It was late, well past midnight, the city's usual cacophony reduced to a distant hum, like the sound of the ocean heard from a far-off shore. My footsteps echoed quietly against the cold concrete steps, a rhythmic pattern that matched the beating of my heart. The air was cool, with a slight hint of dampness, as if the building itself was breathing alongside me. As I reached the landing, she was there, standing by the window with the city lights mirrored in her eyes, a mesmerizing tapestry of blues, whites, and yellows that sparkled in the darkness. Her presence was unexpected, and yet, somehow, not entirely surprising. It was as if some invisible thread had pulled us both to this place, at this exact moment, weaving our fates together in a tapestry of shadows and light. "You always walk so quietly," she said, her voice a soft melody amidst the city's distant hum. Her words floated in the air, heavy with implications that made my heart skip a beat. There was something about the way she watched me, a mixture of warmth and something else, something that hinted at stories untold, secrets shared only with the night. I am Nathan Carter, 32, a freelance writer struggling to find inspiration in the mundane corners of life. The city, with its vibrant chaos and endless streams of stories, often leaves me feeling like an observer, detached from the narratives unfolding around me. My current emotional state, restless perhaps, an unsettling mix of curiosity and caution that often keeps me awake long after the world has gone to sleep. Each day bleeds into the next, a never-ending cycle of searching for meaning within the ordinary, hoping to find a spark that will ignite the words within me. My landlady, Eleanor, is a woman in her mid-50s, with an air of quiet authority that seems to command respect without demanding it. Her presence is both comforting and enigmatic, like a forgotten melody that suddenly resurfaces in your memory, bringing with it a flood of emotions you can't quite place. She moves through the world with a grace that belies her age, her eyes always reflecting an understanding that feels both inviting and dangerous, as if she knows more than she lets on. "I like hearing you come home," Eleanor continued, her gaze unwavering, holding mine in a gentle but firm grip. "It means you're safe." There was a pause, a moment suspended in time, as I wondered if her words carried a deeper meaning. Was she referring to the city outside with its hidden dangers, or something within these walls that I had yet to understand? I managed a smile, though it felt thin and fragile, like a thread stretched too tight, ready to snap. "I didn't realize I had an audience." She chuckled softly, a sound that seemed to fill the empty stairwell, wrapping around us like a warm embrace. "Perhaps you're more interesting than you think, Nathan." Her words were a challenge, one that ignited a spark within me, a forbidden beginning to a story I hadn't dared to write. As I turned the key in the lock and stepped inside my apartment, I felt the weight of her eyes on me, a silent promise of something more, a future unwritten and full of potential. The next evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, I found myself lingering in the hallway, my thoughts consumed by Eleanor's presence. Our interactions were always brief, yet they carried a weight that was hard to ignore. She was my landlady, a role that should have been defined by distance and formality, yet here we were, dancing around a line neither of us seemed willing to cross. I decided to take a walk, hoping the cool night air might offer some clarity, some respite from the whirlwind of questions and emotions swirling within me. The streets were quiet, the city settling into its nocturnal rhythm, a symphony of distant sirens and the occasional rustle of leaves in the breeze. I wandered aimlessly, my thoughts drifting back to Eleanor, to the way her eyes seemed to see through the layers I had carefully constructed around myself, peeling them away to reveal the raw, vulnerable core hidden beneath. When I returned, the lights in her apartment were still on, a warm glow spilling into the hallway, casting a golden hue on the worn wooden floors. I hesitated, my hand hovering over the doorknob, the temptation to knock, to bridge the gap between us, was almost overwhelming. But just as I was about to give in, the door swung open, and there she was, leaning against the doorframe with a knowing smile, as if she had been expecting me all along. "Couldn't sleep?" she asked, her voice carrying a hint of amusement, an almost playful edge that made my heart flutter. "Something like that," I replied, my own smile mirroring hers. A silent acknowledgement of the connection that seemed to grow stronger with each passing day. She stepped aside, an unspoken invitation that I found impossible to refuse. Her apartment was a reflection of her, cozy yet sophisticated, filled with the warmth of someone who had lived a life full of stories, each object a testament to a chapter, a memory, a moment in time. We settled into an easy conversation, the kind that flows effortlessly despite the undercurrent of something unspoken, a tension that hummed just beneath the surface, like the low, steady beat of a drum. As we talked, the distance between us seemed to shrink, our words weaving a tapestry of shared understanding and unacknowledged desires. There was a moment, a brief, tantalizing moment, where the world around us seemed to fade away, leaving only the two of us and the silence that held more meaning than any words could convey. But reality, stubborn and unyielding, intruded upon our fragile sanctuary. The sound of footsteps echoed in the hallway, a reminder of the world outside and the boundaries we had yet to define. The spell was broken, and the moment passed, leaving behind a lingering sense of what could have been, a longing for something just out of reach. Eleanor's gaze caught mine, a silent acknowledgement of the line we had almost crossed. "It's getting late," she said softly, her voice tinged with regret, an echo of the unspoken words that hung in the air between us. I nodded, understanding the unspoken words that lay between us, the uncharted territory we had dared to explore, if only for a moment. "Thank you, Eleanor, for everything." As I made my way back to my apartment, the air felt heavy with possibilities and the weight of choices yet to be made. Our encounter had shifted something within me, a realization that the danger Eleanor spoke of might not lie outside these walls, but within the depths of my own heart, a Pandora's box of emotions and desires that threatened to spill over at any moment. Days turned into weeks, and our interactions settled into a new, unspoken rhythm, a delicate dance of words and glances that neither of us dared to upset. There was a tension between us, a fragile balance that hung in the air like the stillness before a storm. I found myself drawn to Eleanor, her presence a constant reminder of the story we were writing together, one moment at a time, each interaction a new chapter in a narrative that defied definition. But with every step closer, the stakes grew higher. There was a real emotional threat in crossing the line, a fear of losing everything I had come to hold dear. Our relationship, undefined as it was, had become a part of my life's fabric, and the thought of unraveling it was almost unbearable, a possibility I wasn't yet ready to face. One evening, as I returned from a particularly long day, I found Eleanor waiting by the stairwell once more, her expression unreadable, her eyes searching mine for answers I wasn't sure I could provide. "I heard something today," she began, her voice steady but edged with concern, a note of urgency that set my nerves on edge. "There's been a break-in down the street." The news sent a chill through me, a reminder of the dangers that lurked in the shadows of our seemingly safe neighborhood, a world where the lines between security and vulnerability were constantly shifting. But as I looked at her, I realized that her concern wasn't just for our physical safety. There was something deeper, a fear that the fragile connection we had built might be shattered by forces beyond our control, an external threat that mirrored the internal conflict raging within me. "I'm glad you're okay," she said, her words a balm to my frayed nerves, a reassurance that, despite the chaos, there was still a semblance of order in our world. I took a step closer, the space between us shrinking to a whisper, a breath, a heartbeat. "Eleanor, But the words wouldn't come, trapped by the weight of everything left unsaid, the fear of what might happen if I dared to speak them aloud. Instead, I reached for her hand, a silent promise that I was here, that we were in this together, whatever it might be, a commitment that transcended words. Her fingers curled around mine, and in that simple gesture, I found the courage to face the uncertainty that lay ahead, the unknown path that stretched before us, shrouded in shadows and moonlight. There was a new reality between us, one defined not by what we had, but by what we were willing to risk to protect it, a bond forged in the fires of uncertainty and hope. As the evening deepened into night, we stood there, hand in hand, the city lights painting our world in shades of gold and silver, a kaleidoscope of possibilities and dreams yet to be realized. The future was uncertain, the path ahead fraught with challenges and choices yet to be made, but for the first time, I felt a sense of hope, a belief that whatever came next, we would face it together, our destinies intertwined. Eleanor's gaze met mine, an unspoken agreement passing between us, a vow to navigate the complexities of our relationship with honesty and courage. Our story was far from over, the final chapter yet to be written, a narrative still unfolding in the quiet moments between dusk and dawn, in the spaces where words failed and silence spoke volumes. But in that moment, I knew that whatever the ending might be, it would be ours, a testament to the power of connection, of trust, of love that defied convention. And as we stood there, the city a silent witness to our newfound understanding, I realized that sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones that remain unfinished, their pages filled with the promise of what could be, an open book waiting for the ink of our choices to fill its pages. In the end, it wasn't about the destination, but the journey, the path we walked together, hand in hand, heart in heart, a testament to the courage it takes to embrace the unknown and write our own story, one step at a time.